Once upon a time, there visited that old Persian farmer, sat down by the fire and told Ali Haafid he could purchase an entire county. He went to his bed a poor man. If you will find a river that runs through white sands between high mountains, in those white sands you will always find diamonds. He pulled out a black stone that was reflecting all the hues of the rain. Wow, here's a diamond. Ali Haafid finally found diamonds. Friends, I believe there's no shortage of opportunities. There's a shortage of the right mindset. There's a shortage of the ability to spot opportunities because of the false belief that success and salvation are out there. Out there in a different city, perhaps in a different continent, in another profession. You see, this out there has fascinated humanity since the dawn of civilization. Out there is exciting, inviting, and full of possibilities. Right here, right here is so dull and predictable and boring. Well, I hope this video inspires you to start looking at right here differently. I hope it inspires you to pause and think, what if my next big breakthrough is not out there, but it's right here? I'm reminded of an old story popularized by Russell Herman Conwell, a Baptist minister and the founder of the Temple University in Philadelphia. It's titled Acres of Diamonds. An old Arab guide had shared this story, which he had reserved for his special friends with Mr. Conwell, and which I have reserved for my special friends on YouTube, and I'm sharing it with you. So an old Arab guide had shared it with Mr. Conwell during a trip down the Euphrates rivers in the Middle East. And the story goes something like this. Once upon a time, there lived not far from the river Indus an ancient Persian by the name of Ali Haafid. He owned a vast farm with orchards and grain fields and gardens, and he had money at interest and was a wealthy, contented man. One day, there visited that old Persian farmer, one of those ancient Buddhist priests, one of the wise men of the East. He sat down by the fire and told Ali Haafid how this old world of ours was made by the Almighty, how the internal fires bursting outward through the crust of our planet threw up the mountains and the hills, the valleys and the plains and the prairies of this beautiful world of ours. How granite, silver, gold, and diamonds were made. A diamond, said the old priest passionately with a gleam in his eyes, is a congealed drop of sunlight. He told Ali Haafid that if he had just one diamond the size of his thumb, he could purchase an entire county. If he had a mine of diamonds, he could place his children upon thrones through the influence of their great wealth. Ali Haafid was listening to all of this. He'd heard all about these diamonds, how much they were worth. And that night, he went to his bed a poor man. No. Ali Haafid hadn't lost anything. You see, this was just a feeling. You know that missing out feeling, the one that you experience after spending a lot of time on social media, where all the influencers post pictures and video logs of their lavish lifestyle to inspire you. And you think to yourself, I wish I had that lifestyle. You see, you haven't lost anything. It's just a feeling. Ali Haafid hadn't lost anything. It was just a feeling. He was hypnotized. The diamonds were all he could think of as he tossed and turned in his bed that night, and he couldn't sleep. Early next morning, he sought out the priest and pleaded, "Will you please tell me where can I find diamonds?" "Diamonds? What do you want with diamonds?" "Why, I wish to be immensely rich." "Well, then go along and find them. That's all you have to do. Go and find them and you'll have them." "Really? But I don't know where to go," said Ali Haafid. And the priest said, "Well, if you will find a river that runs through white sands between high mountains, in those white sands, you will always find diamonds." "I don't believe there is any such river," said Ali Haafid. "Oh yes, there are plenty of them, and all you have to do is to go and find them, and you will have them." Said Ali Haafid, "I will go." And so he sold his farm, collected his money, left his family in charge of a neighbor, and he went away in search of diamonds. He started very properly, at the Mountains of the Moon in East Africa. Afterward, he came around into Palestine, then he wandered on into Europe, and at last, when all his money was spent and he was in rags, wretchedness, and poverty, he stood on the shore of that bay at Barcelona in Spain, when an enormous tidal wave came rolling in, and the poor, suffering, dying man could not resist the awful temptation to cast himself into that incoming tide. And he sank beneath its foaming crest, never to rise in this life again. You see, the man who purchased Ali Haafid's farm one day led his camel into the garden to drink. And as that camel put its nose into the shallow water of that garden brook, Ali Haafid's successor noticed a curious flash of light from one of the white sands of the stream. He pulled out a black stone that was reflecting all the hues of the rainbow. He didn't think much of it. He took the pebble into his home and put it on the mantle and forgot it all about it. A few days later, the same old priest, that's where the entire story started. The same old priest came in to visit Ali Haafid's successor, and at the moment he opened the drawing room door, he saw that flash of light on the mantle, and he rushed up to it and shouted, "Wow, here's a diamond. Ali Haafid finally found diamonds. Has he returned?" "Oh, no. Ali Haafid has not returned, and that is not a diamond. I'm the new owner of this farm, and that is nothing but a stone we found right out here in our own garden." "Oh, but," said the priest, "I tell you, I know a diamond when I see it. And I know unmistakably that stone is a diamond." And then, my friends, together, they rushed out into that old garden and stirred up the white sands with their fingers, and lo, there came up more beautiful and valuable gems than the first one. So the story goes, thus was discovered the diamond mine of Golconda, the most splendid diamond mine in all the history of mankind, excelling the Kimberley itself. The crown jewels of the world's most powerful nations came from that very mine. Swinging his Turkish cap in the air, the Arab guide now said, had Ali Haafid remained at home and dug in his own cellar, or underneath his own wheat fields, or in his own garden, instead of wretchedness, starvation, and death by suicide in a strange, far-off land, he would had acres of diamond. For every acre of that old farm, yes, every shovelful afterward, revealed gems which have since decorated the crowns of monarchs. You see, my friends, Ali Haafid was practically living on a diamond mine, and yet he wasted his life looking for diamonds out there. That brings me to a very important question. How about you? How about you? Are you also one of those who feel stuck and believe there's a shortage of opportunities? And please let this video serve as a reminder. The reminder is this, that there is no shortage of opportunities. There's a shortage of the right mindset. There's a shortage of appreciation of the gifts, the skills, the knowledge, and the resources that you already have. There's a shortage of initiative, grit, focus, determination, and commitment. You could turn your life around right now. All you need is a fresh perspective, perhaps an outsider's perspective, an outsider who believes your grass is greener than hers. Our lives could be so different if we could all appreciate where we are and what we're doing today and give it our very best instead of longing to be somewhere else. If we could face our challenges head on and turn them into opportunities instead of running away from them. If we could recognize the fact that your life and my life is someone else's dream. What if I told you, in the words of Napoleon Hill, your most significant opportunity may be right where you are at the moment? That's a what if worth thinking about, and it could transform your entire life. Modern story goes, GoPro founder Nick Woodman, who was an avid surfer himself, had difficulty taking selfies while he was surfing. So he went on to create a multi-billion-dollar global company to effortlessly capture our most active moments on camera. GoPro was founded, and that's an aha moment worth $1 billion. Airbnb founders Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia had just moved to SFO from New York. Without jobs, they were having trouble paying their bills and their rent, and they were looking for ways to make some extra cash. They noticed that all the hotel rooms in San Francisco were sold out due to a large conference, and they spotted an opportunity. They bought a few air beds and quickly put together a site called Air Bed and Breakfast. That was the first name of Airbnb, Air Bed and Breakfast. And it offered visitors a place to sleep in the night and have breakfast in the morning. They charged $80 a night. And another multi-billion-dollar disruptor was born on that San Francisco home floor that night. Indian internet entrepreneur Sanjeev Bikhchandani saw his colleagues flip through the last pages of business magazines. And all they were trying to do was to keep an eye on new job opportunities. That insight, that aha moment, led to the launch of what would become India's most successful online job search portal called Naukri.com. Here's the interesting part. The country had only 14,000 internet connections at the time of launch. And yet, this gentleman, he believed in his vision, persevered, and is now considered as one of India's top internet entrepreneurs. Of course, I'm simplifying these success stories. It didn't happen overnight for these guys. I'm simplifying to make a point, a very important point, and that is this. There's no shortage of opportunities. There's a shortage of the right mindset. This was Simerjeet Singh. Thanks for tuning in.